Welcome back. Tonight, we travel back more than 400 years to a world of dense forests, endless coastlines, and uncertain futures. A world where crossing the Atlantic Ocean could take months. A world where a simple winter could decide whether an entire settlement survived. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and let your mind drift as we explore the surprisingly difficult everyday life of early colonial America. And as always, this is history designed for sleep. Let's begin. Imagine standing on the deck of a wooden sailing ship. The year is 1607. The ocean stretches endlessly in every direction. For weeks, all you've seen is water. The ship creaks constantly. The smell of salt, damp wood, and hundreds of passengers fills the air. Food is limited. Fresh water is precious. Many people are sick. Nobody knows exactly what waits across the ocean. Yet thousands of Europeans chose to make this journey. Why? For some, it was the promise of wealth. For others, religious freedom. Some hoped to escape poverty. Others simply wanted a fresh start. What they found was not an easy new beginning. Instead, they entered a world filled with challenges they could barely imagine. The first English settlement at Jamestown faced immediate difficulties. The settlers arrived expecting opportunity, but the environment was unfamiliar. The summer heat was intense. Mosquitoes were everywhere. Clean drinking water was difficult to find. Disease spread rapidly. Many colonists had little experience farming or building shelters. Some were gentlemen who had never performed hard labor. Unfortunately, the wilderness did not care about social status. Everyone had to work. Food had to be gathered. Shelters had to be built. Wood had to be cut. Water had to be carried. Without constant effort, survival became impossible. During the settlement's first years, many colonists died. Hunger became a constant companion. Winter brought even greater hardship. Temperatures dropped. Supplies ran low. People weakened from illness. Some settlements nearly disappeared altogether. Yet despite these struggles, colonists continued arriving. The dream of a better life remained powerful. As settlements grew, daily routines slowly developed. Most people woke before sunrise. There were no alarm clocks. Instead, life followed the rhythm of daylight. The morning often began with simple chores. Fires needed to be restarted. Animals required feeding. Water had to be collected. Breakfast was usually modest. Perhaps porridge, perhaps bread, sometimes leftovers from the previous day. Nothing could be wasted. Food required enormous effort to produce. Families spent much of their time ensuring they would have enough to eat. Farming dominated daily life. Fields had to be cleared, trees removed, soil prepared, seeds planted, weeds controlled, harvests collected. Every season brought new responsibilities. Spring meant planting, summer meant maintenance, autumn brought harvest. Winter focused on survival and preparation. Without modern machinery, every task required physical labor. Even simple activities could take hours. A farmer might spend an entire day accomplishing what modern equipment can do in minutes. Oxen often helped pull heavy loads. Horses were valuable but expensive. Many families relied mostly on their own strength. The work was relentless, but food remained uncertain. A poor harvest could threaten an entire community. Droughts damaged crops. Storms destroyed fields. Pests consumed valuable food supplies. Success was never guaranteed. Meanwhile, houses remained far simpler than modern homes. Many early colonial houses were small wooden structures. Rooms served multiple purposes. Large families often shared limited space. Privacy was rare. Heating usually came from fireplaces. These fireplaces provided warmth, light, and cooking facilities. Yet they also required constant attention. Wood had to be gathered year-round. A family might burn enormous amounts during winter. Imagine the effort required to cut, transport, and store enough firewood for months of cold weather. Candles provided additional light. However, candles were valuable. People used them carefully. After sunset, darkness quickly filled homes. Many colonists went to sleep earlier than people do today. Nighttime activities remained limited. The absence of electric lighting fundamentally shaped daily life. Clothing was another challenge. Today, buying clothes can take minutes. In colonial America, creating clothing required tremendous effort. Wool had to be processed. Flax had to be grown. Fibers needed spinning. Fabric required weaving. Garments had to be sewn by hand. A single piece of clothing represented many hours of work. As a result, people owned fewer items. Clothing was repaired repeatedly. Nothing useful was discarded without reason. Children often wore hand-me-down garments from older siblings. Practicality mattered more than fashion. Education varied greatly. Some communities established schools, others relied on family instruction. Books were expensive. Paper was valuable. Literacy rates differed depending on location and social class. Children learned skills necessary for survival. Boys often worked alongside fathers. Girls frequently learned household management from mothers. Responsibilities began early. Many children performed meaningful work from a young age. Play existed, of course, but daily survival remained the priority. Religious life played a major role in many colonies. Church attendance was often expected. Services could last for hours. Religious beliefs influenced laws, customs, and community expectations. The church served not only as a place of worship, but also as a center of social life. Neighbors met there. News spread there. Community relationships developed there. Travel was difficult. Roads were often rough. Many paths became muddy during bad weather. Journeys that seem short today could require an entire day. Wagons moved slowly. Horseback travel was tiring. Walking remained common. As a result, communities sometimes felt isolated. News traveled slowly. A letter might take weeks or months to reach its destination. People often waited long periods for information from distant relatives. Communication required patience. Trade connected colonies with the wider world. Ships crossed the Atlantic carrying goods. Merchants imported tools, fabrics, and manufactured products. Colonial exports included tobacco, timber, and agricultural goods. Ports became important centers of activity. Dock workers loaded cargo, sailors prepared ships, merchants negotiated deals. The waterfront remained busy from sunrise until sunset. Tobacco became especially significant in some colonies. The crop generated substantial profits, yet growing tobacco required extensive labor. Fields demanded constant attention. Harvesting and processing consumed countless hours. Economic success often depended upon agricultural production. For many colonists, wealth remained uncertain. Some prospered, many struggled. The gap between rich and poor existed even in early America. Large landowners enjoyed advantages unavailable to smaller farmers. Nevertheless, life remained physically demanding for nearly everyone. Medical care was limited. Doctors possessed fewer tools and less knowledge than modern physicians. Many treatments seem strange today. Illnesses that are easily managed now could become deadly. Infections spread rapidly. Childhood mortality remained high. Life expectancy was lower than modern standards. Families understood that sickness represented a serious threat. Home remedies were common. Communities relied on practical experience. Prevention often mattered more than treatment. Women carried enormous responsibilities. They managed households, prepared food, made clothing, raised children, maintained gardens, preserved food supplies. Many also worked alongside men during busy agricultural seasons. Their labor was essential. Without it, colonial communities could not function. Food preservation required particular skill. There were no refrigerators, no freezers, no modern food storage systems. People used drying, smoking, salting, and pickling techniques. Preparing for winter began months in advance. Every successful harvest needed careful management. Mistakes could have serious consequences. Animals played a major role in daily life. Chickens provided eggs, cows supplied milk, pigs offered meat, horses assisted transportation. Livestock represented valuable property. Caring for animals demanded consistent attention. They required food, water, and shelter. Predators sometimes threatened livestock. Disease affected animals as well as humans. Colonial life remained closely connected to nature. Weather influenced nearly everything. A storm could delay travel. Heavy rain damaged roads. Harsh winters increased hardship. Good weather improved harvests. Bad weather created uncertainty. As settlements expanded, towns slowly emerged. Shops appeared. Markets developed. Artisans offered specialized services. Blacksmiths produced tools. Carpenters built structures. Millers processed grain. Each profession contributed to community survival. Entertainment existed, though it differed from modern expectations. There were no televisions, no smartphones, no streaming services. Instead, people gathered for conversations, music, storytelling, and community events. As decades passed, colonies continued growing. New settlements appeared, population increased, Economic opportunities expanded. Yet many challenges remained familiar: hard work, uncertainty, dependence on weather, and the constant need for food and shelter. Now, as our journey through colonial America comes to an end, imagine the sounds fading into the distance. The crackling fireplace grows quieter. The evening wind moves gently through wooden walls. A lantern flickers softly. Outside, the stars shine above an endless wilderness. The day's work is finally complete. Tomorrow will bring more challenges. But for now, there is rest. Good night.